He's gonna represent one technical. Here you. Bless you.
Bless you. We set? All right, we are back in open session. After being in closed session for a bit, City Attorney, do we have any reportable action from closed session?
No reportable action, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, City Attorney. With that, we will adjourn our first special meeting, which started at 5 p.m., and we will be back in 4 minutes for our 6 p.m. regular meeting.
Are these late applications? So
All right, welcome everybody to our regular meeting at 6 p.m. in the Selma City Council chambers at 1710 Tucker Street in Selma, California, 93662. The teleconference phone number is 301-715-8592. The webinar ID is 891-6864-5005. When on the phone, if you wish to address the council during the public comment part of the agenda, press star 9 to raise your hand and we will select you from the meeting queue. Press star 6 to unmute and mute yourself. Notice to meeting attendees, members of the audience shall not engage in disorderly or boisterous conduct, including the utterance of threatening or abusive language or other acts which disturb, disrupt, or impede or otherwise render the orderly conduct of a city council meeting infeasible. Before we have the invocation tonight, could we please call for a moment of silence for one of our best, SB Chavez, a longtime business owner and Selma resident, passed away recently. And let's bow our heads and just remember SB and her family. Thank you, everybody, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the Chavez family. Now we're going to ask Pastor Lisa Satterberg from the Take It by Force Ministry to do our invocation tonight.
Amen. Blessings. Let us pray. Father, our Lord, our God, we give you the glory, the honor, and the praise that is due to your name. We thank you for this day that you have given us and appointing in this day the very things that you've desired, even this meeting to go forward. So we thank you for your presence. We thank you for your wisdom. We ask that you would give creative ideas and witty inventions for the City of Selma and the council team, Lord. We ask that you would bless them. We declare peace and unity, working together to be able to build forth the city that you desire, Lord, that your name may be glorified as we declare expansion and increase over Selma and this beautiful city. We thank you for what you're doing and what you're going to do. Lord God, let your name be glorified through all of it. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands.
Would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Avalos?
Here.
Councilmember Oseguera?
Here.
Councilmember Trujillo?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra?
Here.
Mayor Robertson?
Here, potential conflicts of interest. Any council member who has a potential conflict of interest may now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing and voting on the matter. Agenda changes or deletions to better accommodate members of the public or inconvenience in the order of presentation. Items on the agenda may not be presented or acted on in the order listed. Additions to the agenda may be added only pursuant to California Government Code, Section 54954.2B. City Attorney, do we have any such changes or deletions this evening?
Nothing to add or to delete, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, City Attorney. Oral communications at this time. Any member of the public may address the City Council regarding any item on the regular meeting agenda over which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issues raised will be referred to the city manager for review. Members of the public are asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Do we have any oral communications at this time? And we do.
Okay, it's on. Mayor, council members, I just wanted to wonder when we're going to be sworn in as me and the other new commissioner. When will that happen?
Great question. When will the planning commission be, the new planning commissioners be sworn in? It looks like we have 2 new ones here tonight.
It would be at their next available meeting, which I don't have off the top of
We
my
don't
head
have
right now.
a planning commission meeting set yet.
Good evening, Mayor, council
Good
members.
evening.
We actually have a special meeting set for July 14th, so it'd be next week. And we'll be sure to add that to the agenda.
Great. So that swearing in ceremony will take place at the beginning of the next special planning commission meeting,
Yes.
the 14th, and that'd be at 6 p.m. right here.
Yes.
Okay,
I
I'll
think
be
the-
there.
And then for Measure S, I would defer to
Measure S.
Maggie on when the next Measure S is.
Okay, Parks and Community Services, the same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
And they'll be on the each next one.
Thanks for your question.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else with oral communications at this time?
Hi, Teresa Salos, 1701 Danube Avenue. I haven't been at the last meeting and I've had some health issues. My mom had some health issues. I had a grandson graduate from UC San Diego, so I was not able to go to any of the budget meetings or the last council meeting. But at the last meeting, I did watch the video of it. It was reported that there were no changes to the health insurance benefits. And I looked through the new budget and I could not find the retiree stipend addressed. When the rates were increased for us in January, we were told that our stipend would not be or could not be increased. We were also told that it would be addressed in the new budget. We were also told that it could be made retro to January. Was this addressed in the budget? Because I couldn't find anything. If the city had stayed with CalPERS, and I've said this before, the city was obligated to pay a portion of the retirees' health insurance premiums. And it increased the longer we were on insurance. And so it was a substantial amount. You guys are giving us, I believe it was $80. I forget how much the amount is. But when the insurance premiums were raised at January, we did not get an increase in the stipend. And so we are having to pay that increase ourselves. We're retired, obviously. We are on fixed incomes, and even a $20 raise in the premiums may not be a lot to most people, but when you're on a fixed income, $20 every month adds up. And so I was just, it just seems like the city isn't interested in your retirees anymore. You know, at the time that we went off of PERS was giving us like 4 or 5 options for health insurance, from HMOs to PPOs, depending on, you know, whether it was for yourself and your spouse. When we went off PERS, the city gave us one option for an HMO for retirees called Medicare Advantage. I had a PPO, so that was not going to fit my needs at all. So I had to go out and shop for insurance on my own and pay that directly out of my pocket. It was not something that was going to come out of my retirement check. And so the people who've retired from the city worked for at least 20 years, if not more, for the city. And we had that expectation of our insurance being a certain way, and all that changed when the city opted to go off of CalPERS. And I understand the reason to save money.
Thank you, Ms. Salas. Appreciate it. City Manager, just refresh our memories. Was that addressed in the budget for this fiscal term?
And that was not, that was one of the cost components that we had looked at and as part of the overall budget.
And the city finished without a deficit, but not a whole lot more than the deficit. Is that correct? With
$346.
there wasn't a lot of extra revenue in there. Okay, thank you for that. And unfortunately, have to make the tough decisions sometimes, and hopefully we can keep looking at this and revisiting it in the future and trying to see where we can save. But there have been a lot of increases in expenses, as many of the cities you've seen, Fresno County, City of Fresno, experiencing deficit issues just because the expenses are rising. So are revenues, but the expenses are rising much faster. And unfortunately, the tough decisions have to be made. And, you know, none of the decisions that none of us want to make, as in this case, but sometimes to make sure that the city stays solvent, these decisions have to be made.
1057 Mill Street, Rose Robertson. Would this be the time if somebody put in an application for one of the committees and they marked the wrong box? Should they come up now or should they wait during the portion of when the committees come up?
Yeah, this is just general oral
Okay, so
communications. There'll be
wait
a,
till
there'll be
during
an
that time.
agenda
Okay,
item
thank you.
on the commissions a little bit later. Thank you. Anybody else with a comment at this time?
It says green light. I'm colorblind, so I can hear it though. So my name is Jesse Crouch, 2206 Barbara. I'm a local business owner and a resident. And I'm here representing a few different businesses in regards to the signage ordinance that we were hit with. Not that it didn't exist before, but they came around and really ticketed different people and different things. And so what we're asking to do is not go over it today, obviously, but get on the agenda in the correct way. So what I'm asking is if we can do a special meeting, presentation to at least plead our side of what we're seeing right now, right? And collaborate to where we have a modernized agenda, or not agenda, but a collaborative, trying to think of the words, a collaborative ordinance. You know, right now it feels like it was just thrown on us. These are older things that have been around for a long time. But there's not one of you that are sitting on city council that didn't use a sign of some capacity and did not have to pay a certain ordinance fee or different things. And so I get it. It just feels currently that it's picking and choosing. As I drive around, next time you go towards McCall, look around and see how many A-frame signs are currently impeding sidewalks. There's a lot. There's 4, you know, in one, one business. And for us, yes, I agree that there can be excessive, right? So that's where the collaborative part comes in. I think by paying our bid fees and our business fees, we should at least get one sign that's a feather sign out there, right? And at least get that taken care of. What are the next steps for you guys? Do you guys get to bring that up and talk about that as far as getting on the agenda? At least making our case, because I'm just one person, but I know that there's at least 5 or 6 from 3 different industries. It's not just the barber cosmetology industry. So anyway, thank you.
You hit the nail on the head by calling it a feather sign. I think that's been the issue. For every 5 or 6 that you say want the feather signs, there have been a lot of complaints, Jesse, about seeing them and how ragged they get in the wind.
I agree.
It's been a, you know, a give and take. So,
I've been ragged myself, so.
so I mean, when we do future council items, you know, we've revisited the parks fees many times. We've gone over and over that. It wouldn't be a bad thing to go over the sign ordinance again, because I think the more we go over it, I think the more refined we get it. And I would encourage you and everybody else that has a position on that to come and discuss it when we do put it on the agenda.
Is that something that we can get on there today? Some of the people have cancer, and so they didn't get to come today because they're doing their chemo thing tonight.
Yeah, you
So-
can't do it on the same day, but
No.
you can do it as
No,
a
I meant-
future one.
Yeah, so I'm asking right now if you guys could take a vote on it to put it on a future agenda, and what would that look like?
So under the agenda, there's a part.
Not this one, not this agenda. We're-
Just hold
okay.
on. They're under this agenda, there's a part of the agenda that's for future agenda items. So that's where it would be requested to review the sign ordinances of the city.
All
And
right,
that is item number 6.
okay,
Okay,
thanks.
thank you. Anybody else with oral communications at this time? Anybody online or on the phone with a comment?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
Okay, we'll move on to special presentations. Our first special presentation is item 1.1, a proclamation commemorating the victims of the 1984 anti-Sikh violence. And before we jump into that, City Manager, I have had some significant public input on that. We'll hear from folks tonight on that. Did you have anything you wanted to add before we ask the folks from the public with a comment?
No, nothing to add at this time.
With that, we bring the member of the public up who would like to make a comment about this.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mahabir Singh. I'm serving us as a Sikh community as a priest in Gurdwara Guru Kalgidhar Sahib Selma. On behalf of the Sikh community, I thanks everyone for giving your time and thank you for standing with us today as we remember the lives lost the families shattered, and the generation forever affected by the tragedies of 1984. For Sikhs around the world, June 1984 marks a painful chapter in our history. During Operation Blue Star, the Darbar Sahib Golden Temple complex came under military assault. The destruction, the loss of innocent lives, and the disappearance of priceless manuscripts from the Sikh reference library remain deep wounds for our community. Many Sikh believes these invaluable handwritten historical records were taken and never returned, while the Indian government has maintained that they were destroyed. For our community, the suffering did not end there. In November 1984, thousands of Sikhs were brutally killed in anti-Sikh violence across India. Families were torn apart, homes and businesses were destroyed. Countless survivors continue to carry the trauma of those days. More than 4 decades later, many still believe justice remains incomplete. We gather here today not to spread hatred, not to seek revenge. We gather to remember. We gather to honor those who were lost. We gather because the people who forgot their history risk losing their future. We also reject any attempt to silence, distort, or erase the experiences of Sikh victims and survivors. Every community has the right to preserve its history, tell its truth, and seek justice without fear. Our message today is simple. Remembrance is not a crime. Seeking justice is not extremism. Honoring the innocent is not politics, it is humanity. We stand with every survivor, every family still waiting for answers, and every person who continues to work peacefully for truth, accountability, and justice. Their pain is our pain. Their resilience is our strength. To the younger generation, I say this: learn your history, protect your identity, and carry forward the rules, values of equality, justice, compassion, and service taught by our gurus. Let our response to injustice always be guided by courage, dignity, and truth. Thank you to the Mayor of Selma, our county officials, community leaders, and every guest who has taken the time to be here today. Your presence sends us powerful message that remembrance matters and that every human life deserves dignity and justice. May we continue to stand together for truth, for peace, and for human rights everywhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming out. Very, very well spoken. Thank you. Sir?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council member and everyone present here. First of all, I want to make thanks to all of you for showing courage and standing with truth. The Sikh community is highly delighted on your stand for Sikh community. June 1984, there is a chapter. Just a few days ago, we celebrated here 250 anniversary of United States. United States, our constitution, our flag grants us fundamental rights. Those rights Sikhs don't have in India. We have a city council member, Mr. Jim Avlos here. I learned from him, his grandfather has to fled India to save himself over there. The crime was, he was a Sikh. That's the only thing. We have been going through many genocides. June 1984, I'm the witness of that genocide. I was very small. We stayed in the trauma. Bombs are going, shells are going. The fight continued for 3 days, 4 days. It went on. We survived that. It was right, like, if I remember, I can't speak. So we discussed in our community, in our Gurdwara, and first of all, we want to thank you. You want to do something for Sikh community. Here, the resolution commemorating the victims, we need a little slight additions. We need to add up and edit a little information. And for reference, I brought congressional documents. It is from June 8th, 1995. Congressman Crane in Washington, D.C., he recognized June 1984 genocide attack on Golden Temple. There is another evidence from Congress. June 13th, 2002, Congressman Dan Burton, he brought a light on the Sikh genocide, started on June 1984. Third one, there are many. So we want to request City Council, please give us some time. We want to work with you. We want to bring a true resolution of Sikh genocide and let the item be continued in the next hearings. In our Gurdwara, we will discuss in our congregation about what is the right. And then we will be bringing the correct resolution to you. And that's the only thing. And with all, I want to thank everyone for showing courage. United States always stands with justice, and that justice we didn't receive in India. And we hope we are not asking for revenge, but we want victims must be recognized. There should not be any further incidents of genocides, massacres anywhere in the world. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. We'll look forward to that, those revisions that you share with
And
the
these
city
documents-
manager. And then city manager, when you receive those, if you would let the council have that. So could we,
And those documents can be given over to Miriam right now, so that way.
that'd be
we can
great.
have
Yeah,
it.
if you could give those to this city clerk. Thank you. And then, once we receive those, it'll be furnished to the city council. We will bring it back to the council for an agenda item proclamation, okay?
Really appreciate it.
Thank you
sir.
for coming out
Th-
tonight.
thank you
Very
so much,
powerful.
sir.
Thank
I
you, Mr.
appreciate
Singh.
Thank you, sir.
So is there consensus to continue this?
Yeah, I mean,
So,
no problem.
okay, thank you. With that, we'll continue this and move on to item 1.2, which is a presentation by the Community Development Department on current development projects within the city of Selma.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, Monique Emerson, Interim Community Development Director. This is a lengthy presentation, so I did plan on, at the end, there are idle projects listed, and I'll probably run through those pretty quickly unless you all want me to stop and describe one in more detail. So I'll go ahead and I'll try and be quick on this. Next slide. New projects. First up, Amberwood Track 6570 Phase 2. This project has been submitted, it was submitted in June. It's a preliminary development review application. It's pending completeness review. It includes a proposed tentative track map that proposes 463 lots on approximately 87 acres located south of Floral Avenue and east of Dockery. Next slide. So next up is Amberwood Phase 5. This is also a tract map that's in the preliminary phases. We are hoping to get their PDR letter out soon, and once they receive that, I think they'll be ready to submit formal applications. This map is approximately 80 acres, and it includes 458 proposed single-family lots.
I have a question. How do we go from phase 2 and then we go to phase 5? What happened to 3 and 4?
Good question. I think there are, sorry? Did someone-
Go ahead.
Is 2 and
No,
3
3
and
and
3
4.
included, and then 4 and 5?
No. So generally, what I've seen is that the developers will identify various areas as phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then they may skip around at times depending on where they have interest from developers on going in.
So the Roman numerals correspond to the location
Sections
of the phases. So
of the
maybe there
overall
has
plan.
been more interest in those sections, the fifth section rather
Yeah.
than 3 and 4. Does that make sense?
That's
Is that the way it goes?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So we have phase 1
All right.
that was already approved, which I will talk about later, and then phase 2 and phase 5. And this phase 5 has been submitted by LGI. I think they're new to Selma in terms of developers. So we're working with them on,
Not Lennar.
not Lennar, no. Next slide. So the Sikh Center of the Pacific Coast Staff Housing Project. So this is a site that was originally developed with a religious facility in the county. This use requires a conditional use permit. They're requesting approval for an expansion of the existing religious facility to construct 5 new dwelling units on site to accommodate temple staff. There are some potential issues with infrastructure that are being worked through. Right now, they submitted the PDR application and it was, initial comments were returned to the applicant from staff. Next slide. So tentative tract map 6560 Raven Village 2. So this project was submitted for PDR, again, a preliminary application in March of this year. The application is pending payment of fees. The proposed project includes 177 lot residential subdivision located at the north corner of Dinuba and Dockery Avenue. Now, this map was previously approved under, as tract 5540, but that map has expired and that's why they resubmitted. So again, this is also at the very preliminary phase. And this project, is within the North Selma annexation project area, so it's also pending the approval of that annexation. Next slide. So tentative tract map 6559 Raven Village 1. This is also a preliminary development review application, and this application proposes a 274 lot subdivision that's located north of Dinuba and Dockery Avenues. This also was a previously approved map. It was previously approved as tract 5461, also known as Casa Bella. And that map also expired, so they are resubmitting this tentative tract map. This one is also pending the North Selma annexation. So those are all preliminary projects that are in the PDR phase. Next are current projects, so projects that are actively being reviewed by staff. First up is the Raven tract 6019. This is located north of East Dinuba between Highland and Thompson Avenues. Currently, we're working through, actually, we're waiting on the applicant to submit the environmental documents. We've had a couple of meetings with them discussing the traffic study. So right now it's pending applicant submittal of the environmental document for this project. Next slide. So the Highland and Nebraska project. So the applicant submitted for final map. We did actually meet with this applicant last week. We are working with them on pending building plans that were submitted a couple of years ago. They want to begin moving forward with the project again. Next slide. So North Selma annexation, which you are all familiar with this annexation. So as you know, on June 16th, a revised annexation boundary came before council. We are scheduled for a LAFCO hearing tomorrow, July 8th. There is a good chance that the item will be continued to another LAFCO hearing, pending continued discussions with LAFCO and the county about the boundary. There is concern about creating that island, as we kind of discussed when we brought that forward. So more than likely that item will be continued. Next slide. So second Front Street mixed use project. So this project has been approved by planning staff back in 2024. The building permits were submitted, and right now it's pending fee payment and fire sprinkler plans. and some additional fees. So that one's moving forward, but it's just pending some fees that are due by the applicant.
This is Parminder Singh's building, the old trophy shop. So it's going to require sprinklers.
Yes.
Okay.
Next slide. So the Whitson Mixed Use Project. This application was submitted March 9th. The application is currently in review by staff. We're also pending outside agency and department comments on this project. So this one will most likely move forward to Planning Commission in the near future. Next slide. The Dinuba McCall gas station. So this project, it's proposing a 5,000 square foot convenience store with a car wash, gas pumps, and a fast food restaurant with an approximately 2,200 square foot drive-through. The application was submitted on June 25th, so pretty recently. They're seeking conditional use permit approval for the proposed development. And right now, the project is in completeness review. Next slide. So Selma Grove, also known as Selma Marketplace. So this application was submitted as it was previously approved. This is a previously approved project. It's had a few iterations that have come before this city council in the past. It has a full EIR that was done for this large development. It was previously annexed into the city. They did submit a PDR application to revise their site plan, and staff sent a PDR letter back to the applicant just today. And we're also working through in initial phases of discussing a potential development agreement with this applicant. Next slide. So Casitas Development, this project was previously approved by City Council. It does have to be annexed into the city, and the applicant is working on their annexation application. So it's pending the submittal of their annexation application. They're going to submit it to the city for our review, then we'll submit it to LAFCO. Next slide. So Highland Park Development Project. So this project is currently in process. It includes a general plan amendment, zone change, track map, and site plan review. So the project includes multifamily uses and includes the construction or proposed construction of 460 multifamily dwelling units. So right now, we're waiting for the applicant to submit the revised environmental documents. So they had a consultant prepare a document. We provided comments, and we're waiting for their resubmittal. Next slide. So the next project is the Josan Development Project. This project consists of a planned development of high-density residential, commercial development, and a hotel, and also approximately 200 dwelling units and various commercial, retail, eating, and auto sales establishments. It's located at the southeastern corner of the Nebraska and Highland Avenue intersection. So the current status is the applicant has a consultant working on their EIR. Again, on this one, the city provided comments on their EIR document, and they're working through revising their EIR and resubmitting it back to the city. So these projects where we're just waiting on the environmental document, including this one, we're hoping to move forward to public hearing in the next few months. Next slide. So Thompson Estates. So this project includes a tentative subdivision map, a general plan amendment, a pre-zone, and a plan unit development. It also includes a slight expansion of the city's sphere of influence. Currently, the applicant just recently submitted back their CEQA document or their environmental document, and it's currently in the city's court to review that document. And as I mentioned before, it includes a sphere of influence, minor sphere of influence amendment. Again, once we finish our review. We're hoping there's no additional comments on the secret document so that we can move forward to, and put the environmental document out for public review, and then we'll be able to schedule planning commission. Next slide. So Rose Avenue tract, this tentative map was approved in August of 2024. The city is currently reviewing the final map and improvement plans. And this, sorry, I didn't say where it's located, north of Rose Avenue, east of the County Rose Estates. Next slide. So Camacho Tire Facility. So this project, the construction has been completed. They have received a temporary certificate of occupancy that was granted while they work on completing their offsite improvements. Next slide. Moving on to completed projects. So Amberwood Tract, this is the Lennar subdivision. Currently, the improvements have been completed and the final map and subdivision agreement have been recorded. And Lennar is actively building on site. There are approximately 80 building permits in process for the proposed single family homes. So this project alone is keeping staff pretty busy, given that there's a lot of applications that have been submitted. Next slide. So outsource industrial project. So this was an industrial project that consisted of the redevelopment of 5 parcels located within the Selma Industrial Park. And currently, the project was actually completed in the winter of 2025. So it's constructed and done. Next slide, idle projects. So I'm just going to run through these and not provide too many details, but these idle projects are projects that are just on hold, and typically on hold because we haven't heard back from the developer or applicant. That in most cases, that's the case. So first one is tract 6464. Next slide. Dinuba subdivision and multifamily project. That one's at the located at the northwest corner of Dinuba and Duke. Next slide. McCall Apartments. This project is located on the southeastern corner of Nelson Boulevard and McCall Avenue. Next slide. Casa de Villa Apartments. Again, also on hold. Project was approved and it's just pending the applicant's submittal of documents needed to move the project forward. Next slide. JNC truck parking project, same thing. They submitted a grading permit back in 2024, but since then there hasn't been any updates and it's still pending payment of fees. Next slide. Bubble wash renovation project. So they did submit, again, plan check. They submitted a permit and the city provided plan check comments back in 2024, but nothing has been resubmitted by the applicant since then. Next slide, Candlewood Suite project. So we haven't heard, the city hasn't heard back from the applicant since 2023. So not sure if this project is dead, but it's seeming like it is. Next slide. Warden and Amber Avenue, tract 6536. This project is now on hold because this was the second phase of the Lavina development project that was denied. So this is in a holding pattern now. Next slide. Shell building at Floral and Highland. This project, the building permit is ready to be building permit is ready to be issued pending payment of fees. Next slide. So just quickly, I think it was mentioned that council would like to see sign applications. So these are sign applications that were in process, I want to say about 2 weeks ago. So there could be updates now, but you can see the address, the business name, and the status. And these, some of them are complete. The ones that are stopped, a lot of them are the banner permits that that the city was working with the applicants on those sign applications. So, and that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have any. Thank you.
Any questions for Director Emerson?
What's happening with Thompson Park? I didn't see it up there. Is it idle? Is it dead? Did it die? It's still
So-
breathing?
It's not, it's part of the, I'm pretty sure that's the park that's part of the Thompson Estates tract, which is, was part of the presentation. The, application that I mentioned, has a sphere of influence amendment. The park site is related to that project. And that project is pending the, revised, actually, that one, we just received the, revised CEQA document from the applicant, and so we need to review it, and in order to move that project forward.
What about Second Street? Where's that at? Are they still working with Caltrans on that, or where's that at?
Okay, yeah, that's an engineering one. But yes, we're still working with Caltrans related to a freeway agreement, maintenance agreement on that.
So the last we heard, Caltrans had sort of increased the scope of the maintenance requirement for the city, and the city pushed back a little bit and said that maintenance agreement would only apply to that area at Second Street that the grant applied to. Is that correct? Have they just not responded since then, or what's going on?
No, we have responses from them, and we will not be inheriting more area to maintain. The maintenance agreement, and Mohammed's been working on that, trying to get that done. The city attorneys looked through it and approved what he's seen. So we're getting ready to send it back to Caltrans for final approval, and then that will be adopted, so.
So there's a timeline on this grant. Has Caltrans effectively waived that deadline of October, or are we still acting
No.
under that time constraint?
No, we've actually filed for an extension on the grant. That paperwork, Mohammed could probably answer a little better than me. But that paperwork is in progress to extend that grant and the timelines.
How's that
One-
looking, Mohammed?
Heard from Caltrans today that they're considering the extension. 1-year extension. Follow up next year.
Yeah, one of the things that held that up was getting the encroachment permit for that project. And so I was able to reach out to Michael Navarro, who's director for District 6, and we were able to get that finally processed through. So to get that project moving forward. But because of that, we have to go for the extension.
I was gonna say, hopefully it won't take a year, because we've been waiting for a long time for this.
Yeah, true. We've been ready to go out to bid for a long time, and they're just these things that keep coming up in between going out to bid and getting this done. So it'll be good to clear those up. I mean, they have to be cleared up ahead of time, but as expeditiously as possible. If you were a betting man, would you think that this project could be completed in 2026 if everything happens from here?
Talking. I'm seeing.
Thank
Will
you.
at least get started in 26? Okay. Okay. I have a question. Back to the Amberwood track. You mentioned you have 80 building units. Are you stating that they already have 80 applicate or
Submittals.
submittals
80
to build 80 homes?
Yes, 60 to 80 in that range, yes.
Wow, okay.
And then in terms of the let me name it correctly, the commercial project out behind Toyota. What's the square footage approximately of the Selma Grove project? How much commercial space will be built out there?
I want to say it's between, what's being proposed now is between 300,000 and 400,000 square feet.
Commercial space?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else with any questions? Anybody from the public with any questions about future developments? Anybody online or on the phone?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Much appreciated. And so a lot of development coming to Selma, definitely. Okay, with that, we will move on to our consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar category are considered routine. Complete consent calendar will be enacted by one motion by roll call vote for purposes of discussion Any council member may have an item removed from the consent calendar and made part of the regular agenda. The council can then approve the remainder of the consent calendar. Does council have any items they would like removed tonight?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to pull 2-4 from the consent.
Okay. I'd like to pull items 2.7 and 2.9. There a motion to approve items 2.1 through 2.3, 2.5 through 2.6, and items 2.8.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Item 2.4.
I just wanted to clarify in regards to the grant. I know you mentioned about taking down the old police station and getting that into, or making that into a parking lot. But there was a discussion in regards to some extra funding. Now, my question was, that extra funding, is it going to go to the parking lots that need repairs? Because I could tell you, the one that's on High Street next or across from Maiden Voyage, that parking lot needs a lot of help. So I just wanted to clarify, will those funds go to that parking lot?
No, they will not. We have budgeted for that, and I will discuss that in my department update.
Okay,
But this is CDBG funding that's going to be used for the police, old PD parking lot to upgrade that for an overflow parking lot as discussed previously.
okay.
But overflow, as we discussed previously, could be used, or additional funds could be used for additional sidewalk improvements with those CDBG funds.
Okay.
Will there be electric car chargers in the overflow parking as well? Is that a requirement when there's a new parking lot? Or is that not a requirement? Just more spaces? Okay, great. Is there a motion to approve item 2.4?
Make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos.
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Item 2.7, I asked to pull this off. This is consideration of a resolution 2026-66 awarding contract to Davis Moreno Construction, Inc. for the Selma Fire EMS Housing Phase 1 project. Who's going to take this?
We're going to tag team this one, me and Mohammed.
All right.
You can direct your question at me, Mr. Mayor.
Absolutely. So my question is, the bid, how did it go? How many bids did we get? Was there a wide variance? And when can we get started?
So I can tell you, I believe there were 5 or 6 bids on that project. I can tell you that the low bid and the second bidder were, for the amount of the project, were extremely close, which is a good sign. That means that the numbers that we got were really legitimate numbers. I couldn't tell you exactly what the amount was that they were,
I believe there were 3 bids.
3
Yes,
bids.
there were
I'm
3
sorry.
bids, and all 3 bids were slightly, no, 2 of them were slightly higher than the engineer estimate. One was a little bit more. But the 2 bids that were close to the engineer estimate, they both had some slight clerical errors that were corrected, and that's addressed in staff report. But they were not issues that would make him non-responsive. So
Great. And what's the timeline looking like to get started on this?
we need to set up a pre-con meeting with the lowest bidder. I don't have. Option team are going. To the pre-con. That time they would give us a.
What would your best guesstimate be at this point?
Construction begins about a month after the award date. Have some submittals that they need to give us. Contractors still have to give us some insurance. Month after this
And do you have an idea of how long the construction will take once it starts?
Project, I'm sure it's in the contract, but unfortunately, I can look into it.
I'm sure this will be coming back, and I know it can't happen soon enough for the chief, for the entire EMS division, so thank you for that. I'll make a motion to, well, hold on, I'll open up the public. Does anybody have a question on the new EMS facility? Anybody online or on the phone with a question about this bid process?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
This is good news because it's starting. It's actually happening. So really looking forward to this and just can't wait for this to get done soon enough. It's really going to be a real move forward for the EMS, for the fire department, for public safety in Selma. I'll make a motion to approve this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Segura,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Item 2.9, and this is a spay and neuter voucher program update. Director Tiger.
Yeah, the staff report was requested by council earlier last month, just to follow up on what is going on with the voucher program and everything like that. So I'm able to answer any questions you guys might have.
How's it going? Give us a summary. What's going on? How many? How many? have been
We've
done?
distributed 54 vouchers right now. Currently 36 have been processed and scheduled so far of those vouchers. We've spent a total of 4,800 on those vouchers. We've reserved 2,500, 1,500 for unforeseen surgical costs that may arise due to any complications, and then 1,000 reserved for the TNR program that's currently going on through the city.
Okay, so 35 have been done, spays and neuters.
No, we have 25 or 24 done and 11 scheduled.
Okay, so 35 will be done, and given that there's a time limit on these vouchers, what's the time limit for the procedures to be finished?
So we require them to schedule a date within 45 days. Right now, some of the clinics or some of the veterinarians are booked up to 4 months in advance right now. And so we're just requiring that they have a schedule made within the 45 days.
Just requiring that they get put on the appointment book. Is there the opportunity for other veterinarians to take that overflow, or for them, the locals, to assign it out?
We can start looking at that. The intention was to stay local with these partners, and these
Really?
two veterinarian clinics have actually been doing a really solid partnership with us on these
Great.
vouchers and giving us a slight discount on the operations. And so with that, staff estimates that we can go further with these vouchers.
I think the purpose of this update was like the purpose of the last update, which is to make sure we're moving along. We're actually getting to the point of reducing the problem of animal overpopulation in Selma. And I think this goes a long way towards doing that. Did I hear you correctly that the number of animals spayed and neutered so far are evenly divided between cats and dogs?
Yeah, it's pretty even. I think there's one more cat than dog right now.
So you got so potentially 35, and then how many vouchers are out there right now?
54 currently out there right now.
What happened to the other 19? Just no
We have not
progress?
gotten confirmation. So we only get the confirmation from the veterinarian clinics when those scheduled appointments are made. And so we just get those reports about weekly. And so we should be seeing some more come in soon.
Well, with 45 days, it's been about 20 days since you had that program to release the vouchers. So will you be following up, or are you just going to wait until 45 days and then just
So
reissue new vouchers?
we'll follow up with them. We have all their contact information and email as well. And so we gave them that notice on their voucher as well. And so we'll follow up with them once. And then if within those 45 days it's not met, we'll start moving down our list.
Has anybody done any math on how many animals we'll be reducing by having 35 animals spayed and neutered? I mean, with 3 or 4 birthing cycles.
No, we haven't done any extensive. research on
That would be good for the future, definitely. Anybody with a question on the spay neuter program? Anybody online or on the phone with a question about this program?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
Another reason I asked the question was because half of this is funded by businesses and individuals with big hearts who really want to take this problem and solve it, rather than just to lock all the animals up that get, born and thrown out or escape in the animal shelter, and then it becomes a city's problem. Let's let's take care of this problem from the source so they don't have these unwanted or stray animals. And I think we're moving towards that. Last topic, last question or issue. So when you had this program, how many people showed up and how long did it take for them to get the vouchers at the animal shelter?
The whole process, we gave out, I believe it was 48 vouchers in about 2.5 hours. I think we had a total of about 60 to 75 participants show up for that one day. Yeah.
That's a great number for people to
It's,
show up.
it's a big need in the community. And so I think with all these numbers and the demographics we've been keeping up with, that we can get more funding from local businesses that see the difference that this is making in the community.
I think that's the point, just to keep doing this wave after wave now that the people, and there's public recognition. Our communications director has definitely highlighted it. I see it all over the city website. So that's really good how we're marketing it as well. Thank you for that update. Is there a motion to approve item 2.9?
Make a motion.
This one was just a, update, so no
No
official.
approval required. Moving on then to the departmental reports. We'll start with the city manager. No motion on this one. City manager.
Yes, let me turn that back on. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Been a while since we met, been busy. Attended a 5 City Center Point and JPA meeting. They are looking at having their next executive meeting in August, potentially here. I believe Councilmember Oseguera is on that one. I worked with our engineers, Mohammed specifically, on an active transportation program grant application, and we submitted that to the state for additional walking trails within the city. I met with various developers regarding Selma Marketplace, Amberwood, and others. The administrative analyst, deputy city clerk recruitment has closed, and we have received over 30 applicants for that position. Written testing is being scheduled to objectively assess the candidate pool prior to interviews. I also attended our final Food Truck Friday event. That was great. Was able to bring out most of my family on that one, and they enjoyed it. We also received a $3,000 grant from California Water Services to the Selma Community Corp for the May 2027 Beer Festival. And additionally, Kaiser Permanente Fresno approved a $25,000 grant for the city of Selma to support the Nick Medina Senior Meal Program. The grant will support food purchases for 4,500 meals during the project period. It's a 1-year period.
It's great news. Thank you to Kaiser
you.
for that,
Yeah.
for that generosity there. All right, community services.
Good evening, mayors and member of the council. I'm going to start over with the art center today. They started rehearsals this week for How to Train Your Dragons. It's going to be a full-scale musical, and they currently have 94 kids enrolled in that show, and so it's a full cast for them. They had a rental this last weekend with the Dancing School of Selma. They have another one coming up this weekend with Dee's Dance. And then finally, they have on Saturday, July 18th, a SAC Teen fundraiser. It's the Y2K dance. It's a 21 plus beer and wine in the lobby. There's a food truck outside, and then all the proceeds benefit the prom school edition, which will open July 24th and run through August 8th. And then for recreation, we held our annual 3rd of July fireworks show last Friday. It was a big success, great turnout, great show. Thank you to Public Works, School District, Chamber of Commerce, and everybody else who made that event possible. It was an amazing event. It always is. The day after, or July 5th on that Sunday, me, my wife, and the lifeguards all went out and cleaned the pool deck to get it ready for community swim. And so community swim will be open every Saturday and Sunday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Until August 2nd. That'll be the last day. And then tonight, adult co-ed is starting. We have opening day. We get to play under the lights this year. So all the teams are very ecstatic that they don't have to play in the summer heat this year. And so excited to see what that looks like out there. Going to head out there after this and see what's going on. And then for animal services, we had 2 dogs headed out of state rescues right now. It'll be Beans and Ollie. They're going to 2 different rescues in different out of state. And then we want to thank the Public Works for the new misters that they put on the back of the kennels, just to help cool the dogs even more in this summer heat that we have in the valley. And so, and in the month of June, we had 40 total animals intake in through the animal shelter. that's all I have for you guys.
40 or 42. So I heard on the weekly activities report, it was we are full. What does that mean?
It means we're at capacity. So we have all the kennels inside filled, and then we reserve 4 spaces outside for any emergency PD animal needs after hours.
And that's 40.
I think we're at 36 animals right now in-house. The rest are out fosters or adoption agencies or different foster homes.
For your report. All right. Fire Chief Webster.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to provide a brief update on the fireworks enforcement activity that occurred over the Independence Day holiday. Our crews did patrols in the evenings from July 1st through the 4th. And this year they reported fairly minimal fire activity or fireworks activity up until the actual 4th of July. And so the 1st and 2nd was very minimal. The 3rd, there was a little uptick. And then the 4th was the majority of the illegal fireworks. During that time, the majority of it, their patrols were focused on areas that they've had previous infractions. And so they really focused on those areas where there were higher occurrences in previous years. With that, there was a total of 16 citations that were issued. And outside of that, again, I think that because of just the activity, the presence of our staff and our vehicles out in those areas, it just appeared to be a little less. And I know that, you know, those that have animals that are scared and all the, and, you know, the other folks that don't appreciate that, definitely the reduction in those illegal fireworks is appreciated. Outside of that, there was one fire that was caused in a ponding basin that was attributed to illegal fireworks activity. Outside of that, no other incidents occurred. The last thing that I wanted to share was just I wanted to recognize my staff that was out at the 3rd of July event representing our city and our fire department. Our honor guard was there, and then as well as our EMS staff providing hands-only CPR training and informational activities. So appreciate them and their hard work. And yep, end of report.
Chief Communications Director Moreno.
Mayors, members of the council, I wanted to review a quick overview of the Food Truck Friday event that happened over the series of May and June. I'll just play this little slideshow. On the screen, you are seeing some of the results of the attendance numbers for the May 8th, 22nd, 5th, and 19th events. For May 8th, we had about 1,100 people, and they stayed about 105 minutes. May 22nd was a little bit lower, so Placer AI wasn't able to read the data for that particular event. Then we move over to June 5th, 845 people attended, and they stayed a little bit longer at 115 minutes. And our last event was 848 attendance with people staying 131 minutes. So if you were there, it was a significantly longer amount of time of people being there. I'll look over to the right. The total expenses out of the bid budget was about $8,000, but with the sponsorship from Riley's and the donated beer, our revenue was about $3,000. So 46% of it, we were able to recover our costs for the events. Some of the costs include the entertainment, light towers, logistics, permits, those type of items. So it was a successful event for a fairly minimal amount of cost, and for us to recover our costs is very important. Some of the residual effects of the events and the campaign around it was 1,299 new social media followers that followed our downtown Selma page. And our content reached 125,000 people on social media. So that's going to actually help us in the long run when we start promoting more businesses and more events. Now that they're following the downtown Selma page, they're aware of it. It's going to get more content. It's going to reach more people. And lastly, the unique vendors, we had about 48 vendors participate in the Food Truck Friday events. That's all 4 events. Some of them ended up purchasing a year-long license, which is $100+. But if they purchased the one-day license, it was $36. That was another added potential $2,000. That goes into the licensing and general fund. So altogether, we essentially recovered half of our costs, right at about $4,000 for the event. But besides the money, besides the numbers, it's really important the people. The people in this room really made this event happen. If you attended the event, if you poured a beer, if you lifted a gate, I appreciate your help. The bid appreciates your help making this happen. And thanks to the council members too for your presence and for being always available to welcome the community. And that's really what it's all about, is creating a third place so that folks come out to the downtown space, spend time there, visit some of the shops, generate business, and get to know your neighbors. And I talked to Chief about that's really how you build community, and that's how you build public safety, is when you know your neighbors and you see them and you talk to them. So, and all in all, I would say it was a successful series. And again, I can't thank Public Works enough, and finance, and everybody who worked with me to make these events happen. So thank you.
I want to thank you, Director, for being out there 2:30 and being out there, and then during the event with your, camera slinging by your side, and then getting done and helping to break down 10:30, 11 o'clock. You're there at the beginning, at the end. Really appreciate it. And it seems like there used to be in the city an expectation that there really wasn't much going on. Now there's an expectation that there's a lot going on. Building on that expectation, how will the bid be building on that and kind of outdoing itself next year?
Absolutely. We're in the planning stages of what we want these events to look like next year, in our bid meetings, and also seeing what other type of events we can do that are really commercial based, like maybe like another small business Saturday, maybe a Halloween event that entices folks to come down and visit all of our boutiques and all of our hair salons. We're looking more in that direction, but the Food Truck Fridays would probably come back next year, knowing how successful it is and how we're able to sustain it, just off the beer donations alone and other small fees. It's able to sustain itself eventually. So yeah, we really want to increase the stay time and definitely the collaborative efforts. As you see in some of the pictures, Centro de Folklore was some of the groups that performed there. The music school performed as well. So any way to collaborate, other community organizations is what we're looking for. So that's contributed to the success of the event, is collaboration.
Great, thank you. Public Works Director Hahn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. A few things to update on tonight. The first thing is that we did meet with Director Moreno this morning. We received the new trash receptacles purchased by the bid committee last week. We did a walk down High Street today for placement of those receptacles, and we're going to try to start getting those placed this week and removing the old receptacles. So you'll see that going on. I wanted to speak about the question that was asked by Mayor Pro Tem Guerra regarding the parking lot on First Street. So we have money budgeted in this current fiscal budget through Public Works to actually work on getting that parking lot up to speed and kind of more mimicking to the work that we've done on High Street for the islands that are there. The one thing that I wanted to discuss with everybody is that a lot of the upheaving damage from to the curb and gutter and to the sidewalk next to High Street is due to those large canopy trees that are existing currently in that parking lot. So before we get in there and start ripping stuff out, I wanted to make the council aware of the fact that those two big trees are going to have to be removed as part of that project. And that creates a lot of shade for that parking lot, and we're aware of that. But we will be going back in with the Chinese pistache trees, which will grow and have that big canopy like the ones that we planted on High Street last year. But I wanted to make everyone aware of the fact that that's going to happen when we start remedying that parking lot. I don't want anybody to be blindsided and come in and start having issues with the fact that those trees have to be removed, but they're doing so much damage to that concrete infrastructure that they're going to have to come out. So that was what I wanted to report on with that. The last thing that I have is that I set some packets in front of you before the meeting started tonight. Big topic for many, many months now has been the restrooms at Pioneer Village. I have found a company called Romtech that's out of the Midwest, and they specialize in snack bars and restroom facilities. The company provides engineering, design, and they construct the actual material to build the restrooms. So what you're looking at in front of you are some of the options that that I looked at with Romtech that I thought were fitting for a historic park such as Pioneer Village that didn't look too modern, didn't look too parkish, but that kind of were similar somewhat to the theme of Pioneer Village. If you look at the top of those, I have basically a cost, a range for what it would cost to design and construct the material to build those facilities. What I would like to do is have council take their time the next week or two and look through those packets. And I would like to bring a staff report and an action item to council to get some kind of direction moving forward so that we can actually start pursuing actual construction of these long-awaited restrooms for Pioneer Village. I think we all would agree that it's been discussed many, many times. We have Selma Healthcare that's already met with us out there that's willing to ante up some money. They've been waiting for some drawings and kind of estimated costs so they understood more of what the overall burden was going to be for that. What I can say is that being the budget restrictions that they were this year, nothing has been budgeted in the current fiscal budget. We have $50,000 that's budgeted to Pioneer Village currently in the fiscal budget. That typically goes for staff time, trimming trees, and for professional services that we have for any gopher abatement, any kind of third party that we need to come out and perform a duty. A couple years ago, we had B issues with the train station, which has also been brought to my attention by Councilmember Avalos. They have a roof that is shot on that building, and we are working currently. We've looked at the contract with the railroad depot, and we're kind of going through that process of understanding what needs to happen to also replace the roof on that building. So that's what I have to report on Pioneer Village, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Just to add on to that, real quick, yeah, we wanted to provide a sort of a preview of the next council report since can't get too much direction back since it's not an official item, but you know, we want to get those comments together before the next one. So that way we can have a nice, good, you know, discussion without just having to see it 72 hours beforehand. The other thing is that we did budget using park development impact fees for construction of the restrooms at Pioneer Village. I can't recall off the top of my
It
head,
was
but
270,000.
270,000. So we did budget within the current fiscal budget for that.
So we'll keep that in mind when we're looking at the price ranges of these various bathrooms.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions? I got a question. So out in between Walmart and Big Five, where the seniors pick up the bus, the FCRTA bus, they donated that bench for seniors to sit on to wait for the buses that they don't have anymore with Walmart. I went out for a bid, a local tarp company, to see if we could get funding through the, you know, the healthcare district for that, for the shelter covering. And they said the liability is just, they don't feel comfortable drilling in the concrete. It's not their concrete. Walmart did approve it, from what I understand. The district manager, a couple rungs up there, said, fine, put your bench over there. We're good with that. My question to the city and Public Works is, do we have something that the city could put out there that would function as a shelter, that wouldn't create liability for the city, that wouldn't blow away in a wind that the tarp guy said would happen first big win? Is there anything that the city has or could look into in terms of a shelter covering? Otherwise, we should probably just put the bench out there, because the seniors, if you go out there, they're just standing there waiting for their buses right now. It's really not right, you know, in the sun. It'd be great to have a covering, but a bench would be better than nothing.
So I can look at our corporation yard. I don't believe we currently have any kind of shelter existing out there. We had a bus shelter that was donated 2 years ago by FCRTA, but that was installed a year ago on Whitson. So I can look into that, but I don't believe that we have a shelter, but I will check into that.
Thank you. And I can ask at the next COG meeting too, ask FCRTA if they have a shelter, because they've donated several over the years, but they, usually donate them and the city installs them. Would it be a large issue to anchor that bench out there, to put something out there eventually that's already city property?
So, if it is in the city right away, then there's no issue with that. The location that was brought to us originally, the understanding was the location was actually on private property, but I can discuss that further with the city manager and we can
It
look into
is, and
that.
FCRTA would be willing to put a bus stop out there, so they said, but it's on Floral and it would never get passed. The city would never allow it because there's too much traffic and it would be dangerous for the vans to impede traffic on Floral in front of the, the Walmart mall.
Different people here to review stuff.
That's true. So maybe it's time to take a look at the transit stop again on Floral.
Well, Scott,
And how far would that be these are things we just need to think through. How far in terms for the seniors to walk to get to that transit stop?
well, Scott, there's actually like next to Big Five, you go outside Big Five, there's a big spot there. We could put a bus stop with a shade there and there's plenty of room.
As he's saying, it's private property. That's the issue. But
That-
the Walmart manager signed off on it. I don't know if it's the Walmart's purview to sign off on that or if it's the actual mall owner's
The
jurisdiction.
actual property owner.
Yeah, the one who actually owns the
Yeah.
mall, the strip mall.
We can probably ask nicely.
We can get that information and we can work on a plan together.
This is just in process, so maybe it might be better to see if we could get a transit stop on Floral there. If you guys could kind of put that in the mix to see if that might be workable. That'd probably be the best because FCRTA, that's their job. That's what they do for a living. So if they
I
could
can
put
reach
one
out to
out there,
Janelle on that.
great.
I have one more question on High Street, on that parking lot you were talking about, the trees. I understand what you're talking about, the trees. The trees there's an issue there. I get it. But if we rip them out and could we come back with the possibility of solar over that area? Solar parking? Like you see in the schools, solar park at the high school? Electricity.
We could look into that.
know,
That might be a process to
That way
get to
we
that
generate
point.
the downtown area with electricity, your lights.
Yeah.
Plus some music.
At the Five Cities JPA meeting that I mentioned that I was at earlier, they had a company there giving a presentation that looks into that type of stuff. So I've worked with him at a couple of the other cities I've been with. So I've got his information and was going to work on setting something up, see if there's anything we can do. One of the things that he brought up was that the shade structures, other stuff like that, a lot of that is getting harder to do because the tax incentives have all gone away. And so, and a lot of the solar companies that were relying on those have started to go under. So he said that's become a little bit more difficult, but it's something that I was planning on addressing with him.
Sounds good. And then in terms of the issue on the trees and ripping them out and being blindsided, I know I don't have a problem as a business building owner on High Street with the trees being taken out as long as they're replaced, as long as there's a plan for the replacement. And I think that's what we're hearing. So I think that would definitely cushion the blow of taking those beautiful trees out. They are impeding traffic. They are creating a liability hazard with those roots. But we just need a plan, as you outlined tonight, Director, to put those pistache trees in as replacements.
That is in the plan.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody from the public? Go ahead.
My turn. We keep talking about Pioneer Village, this and that and all that, but it's a beautiful place, but are we really doing a concentrated effort to rent it out? I don't see no promotion, nothing put out there. Also, the little building where they had the vaccine clinic, beautiful place. How come we don't rent that out? There's people out there looking for places to do baby showers and stuff. And what's going on with that? I mean, we need money, but we're not willing to go out there and rent these places out. What's going on?
Pioneer Village, we get steady rentals throughout the year. I did a full report that I can send to you guys as well, for our Recreation Commission as well, to kind of give them an update on what the rentals look like throughout the year, what quarters are highest and everything. We have talked about the Recreation Commission doing a little bit of marketing, working with our PIO to get some video of Pioneer Village. The issue with the inside building right now is that, we're actually in contract with the Danish American Historical Society. And so they have, in the contract, they have the right to the restrooms, and storage of the restroom for the supplies there. And so with that, they keep their stuff in there, so we're not able to use that restroom, so we can't offer a restroom with that building.
Right, but
long
if
as
we
the
have I'm
contract-
sorry, but if we have the restaurants right outside, I mean, they can go right there to the Pioneer Village restrooms, I mean,
You're saying the ones across the park?
yeah, right, they're not really across the park, it's right there.
I have a question. How long is the contract?
So it actually, I'd have to look back at it, but I'm pretty sure it expired in 2024, and it's just on an automatic renewal without 60 days of notice.
Okay, good. We'll bring it back.
Anybody else with a question? Anybody online or on the phone with a question for the directors?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
With that, I'd like to thank all the directors for being here tonight, and for those who gave your reports, thank you, and thank you for fielding these questions. We'll now take a break for 5 minutes, during which the public can approach the directors, and we'll be back to finish our regular agenda after that. All right, we are back in session and we're going to move on from our departmental reports to our items of regular business, of which we have two tonight. Item 5.1 is to consider a appointment to the Planning Commission, Recreation and Community Services Commission, and Measure S Oversight Committee. City Manager.
Yes, thank you again, Mayor and City Council. As stated, this item is for appointments to the Planning Commission, Recreation and Community Services Commission, and Measure S Oversight Committee. Tonight, council will consider appointments for one Planning Commission seat, two Recreation Community Services Commission seats, and two Measure S Oversight Committee seats. Applications have been provided for council's review, and the appointments are before you for discussion. The majority of the ones are incumbents and have asked to be reappointed.
Thank you, City Manager. First of all, if we have any candidates for commissions, could please step forward if you would like to be heard.
Hello. Okay. Sorry that I'm new to this, so getting my feet wet. But my name's Jaden Valdez. Address 1325 Sarah Street. I think I marked planning on my application, but I wanted to change that to Rec and Center. But besides that, I guess I just want to introduce myself. Like I said, my name is Jaden Valdez. I am a current student at Fresno State. Currently also an athlete at Fuego. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but part of soccer. So it's pretty cool hearing, seeing at this meeting what's going on in the city of Selma. And I wanted to bring up something about sports. It's kind of why I want to go into Rec and Center. But I want to see like where is the development when it comes to like facilities or any type of infrastructure for sports. There's a lot of talk about obviously like us wanting to build our community, and I think super great food trucks, super great with like the arts and center, all that's super great. And I think that if we could also involve the sports, like I think I heard earlier that we have like softball or the co-ed going on, but why can't we see co-ed for soccer? Like that would be super great. Or say if we are able to build a facility, we would also be able to get like other sports, such as I think right now we have flag football that's been introduced last year. We could do, there's countless sports. I'm a little nervous right now, so I can't think off the top of my head. But stuff like that brings the community together, brings the culture. I've seen a lot of talk about projects for like housing. I mean, who's gonna want to live in a city where there is no type of culture, where there's no type of community? So I think that's really big that
You guys are like trying to develop that, and I think that's really cool. So like I said, so I guess my question is, what's the look on facilities for sports, and will that be done in the near future, or how's that looking?
Jane, first of all, I want to congratulate you on your just coming out here, taking your time to come out here to a city council meeting. A lot of people don't do that, and I really appreciate you taking that first step to actually participate and make a difference in your community. We're all just regular citizens up here representing the public, and these are great comments that you have. I could see Director Tiger, he started where you were, right, Matt? I mean, you started as a young person, as a college student, and worked your way up, and he is acting director of Parks and Community Service, doing a great job. He even does lifeguarding, works in the snack bar. So, there's that do everything mentality here in our city. And, you can kind of get lost in that sometimes, just doing so much to make everything happen. But one thing we never lose sight of is who we do it for, and it is for the residents, and it's for the elderly, and it's for the kids. And sports are such a huge component of that. So a youth center is really, really important. New park space is really important. It is a priority. You also heard us kind of wrestling with the budget tonight, the money, because we're spending taxpayer money. So we would love to spend any amount we possibly could to bring these really worthy items in. It's just a matter of how do we find that? How do we allocate that rationally so that we can also pay the salaries of those who provide public safety and Parks and Rec and all the really important things that the city does. So that's always kind of a give or take trade-off. But, we listen to is members of the commissions, and members of the commissions become people who are on the city council. And this is a great first step. So I see where, yeah, your application, you did pick Recreation and Community Services, and you picked the Downtown Business Improvement District. So you got it right. And even if it doesn't go your way tonight, because, that quite frankly, there's a heck of a lot of interest in these commissions now and staying on, stay in touch, okay? I know you're right down the street. Your mom's right down the street, so, from us. So, just thank you very much for coming out and for your enthusiasm for this. And please stay in touch, okay? Stay plugged in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, any other candidates for commission who'd like to say anything?
Good evening, Yolanda Torres. I'm reapplying for the Parks and Recreation Commissioner. I currently have had my last 2 years. It's been a wonderful experience. We have an awesome commission team right now that we're working with, and I think we've made a lot of headway with the Pioneer Village has been our main priority with the bathrooms. I think we're working together with other departments to kind of move that forward. And the Brettlinger Park, the structure we put out there has been an amazing experience as well. So I really would like to continue on the commission and just continue to work with the city and move things forward and continue our growth. We have a lot of things in planning right now, and I'm really looking forward to getting all of those completed and starting some new ones. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Great, thank you. Anybody with any questions for the Parks and Community Services Commissioner, Yolanda Torres?
No, thank you for Yolanda for coming out.
Thanks for your service.
Thank
Oh, by the way, late happy birthday.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Brian Ramirez. I'm actually the incumbent for the Planning Commission. I'm looking to seek to be reappointed. I felt like I've been it's been very knowledgeable. It's a lot to take in for your first year, definitely, but it's an eye opener. As you can see, there's a lot of plans going, and there's a lot happening in Selma. But other than that, I feel like I've made a huge difference. I'll give you an example. There was a development that was going to come to over by the hospital, and I felt like the developer pretty much just showed up, and there was no visual, so I suggested that we have some sort of workshop, kind of a town hall meeting for the neighborhoods, because a lot of people showed up from those homes that they felt like they were going to be affected by those incoming homes. I was very happy that my colleagues on the planning commission were on the same board as I was. So we were able to get that, and we pushed it forward, and we learned more than we learned more than we didn't know before then. And I'm also looking to be selected for the Measure S committee as well. Huge supporter of public safety. Because without public safety, none of us would probably wouldn't be here in this town, because public safety is definitely, I feel like, is number one for any community. So that's huge. But other than that, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Council. My name is Reyes Gallardo. 2433 Rodeo Street here in Selma. I just want to apply for the Measure S Oversight Committee. I have 24 years of public safety, law enforcement. I'm retired, so I want to get more involved with the committee, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Just point of clarification, Commissioner Ramirez, you were intending to apply for Planning Commission again, correct? Reapply for that? Your application just has Measure S oversight checked on the box. Did you just assume that since you were reapplying, that would be implied with the vote tonight, or had you notified anybody that you were going to be reapplying for that?
So clarification, you only have my Measure S application?
Just your Measure S application,
No,
which was originally left out of the packet, but now we have the Measure S application.
No,
It only has
I also
Measure-
turned in my planning application about a week ago.
Is it? Okay. On the packet.
It's on
So
the
we didn't
packet.
have it. Okay, good.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to clarify it since we didn't have both checked.
I have a,
Okay.
I have a concern.
312. It's on there. Thank you, Commissioner. It's just two
Since-
different applications.
Since I use my iPad, my electronic device, I found the agenda, which is fine, but I didn't find the packet electronically, so I don't know what.
Next to agenda packet.
Well, no, because Margie sent it out. So I see
on
the
the-
agenda, but I don't see the.
It's on the website too. Yeah, she just sent out he's right. She just, Margie Maggie Fowler sent out the deputy city manager. Oh my God. Sent it out and she just sent out the agenda first of
Okay,
all,
okay.
but on the website, the city website, it had both. And so it was just a little confusing with the planning commissioner because we had two different separate applications, one for Measure S and one for planning commission. You're good. You filled both out. So thank you for that. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know what you guys are looking at because I don't have it on,
It's on the website.
I don't have the packet.
Got it. But you can just go on the website.
Oh, I know, but I shouldn't have to go to
That's
the
true.
website.
That's true. He should get a packet.
I'll make sure.
Anybody else with anything they'd like to say? Anybody online or on the phone? Any commission applicants?
Teresa Salas. You have two applicants, Jonathan Reyes, who has a degree in city and regional planning. And then he's a Selma resident, obviously. And Tanya Santillan, who is, she also has a degree in civil engineering. So both of those are very strong candidates, I would think, to be on the planning commission, to really be able to give more technical input to the things that are being brought to the planning commission.
Thank you. Are either of those folks here tonight? Online or on the phone?
Mayor, I see nobody in the chat right now.
Great. I thank them for applying. That's a good first step. But like I said, we got a pretty deep talent pool here. And we have to make the tough choices in terms of appointing the commission members. And so we'll start out with,
Well, I'll go ahead and make a motion on the planning.
you want to start out with the planning?
Start out with
Everybody good to
the-
start out with the planning?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'll go ahead and make a motion to put Brian Ramirez back on planning.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Okay, congratulations. Thank you for your service. Next item is the
Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Recreation, or Recreation Community Services Commission. Is there a motion to nominate them?
I'll make a motion
Members.
to add back Natalie Gonzalez and Yolanda Torres back on
Is there a
Planning
second?
Commission.
They're reapplying. I see that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll second it.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Thank you, Jaden. Keep at it, okay? I know we'll see you again. All right, and then our last item is the Measure S Commission. Is there a motion we have one member who has stated they will no longer, Mr. Ridgway, who will not be returning to the commission. Is there a motion to appoint a Measure S Commission member tonight?
Yeah, I'm make a motion to appoint Reyes.
Reyes Gallardo?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Sure.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Congratulations.
Was that also to reappoint,
Yeah, there's one additional member
Jennifer Earl.
left, Jennifer Earl. Is there a motion to reappoint Ms. Earl, or is there a motion to appoint someone else instead?
You wanna,
Oh,
Want to be on?
so
I wasn't too
Co-
sure on it.
at the last term, Ms. Earl said if there was anyone else who was interested in the commission, she would gladly step aside and they could just assume that position. However, in the report, it said that she was looking to be reappointed to the commission.
Okay,
correct?
that's fine.
Do we have any definitive statement from Ms. Earl?
We just reached out and asked if they were interested in continuing their service, and she
Okay.
said yes.
So is there a motion to reappoint Ms. Earl?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to reappoint her.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for applying, and thank
Oh,
you for
yeah,
your
we have
service to the commissions.
Ridgeway, isn't it Ridgeway?
Yeah, he's not applying
Not
again.
applying.
Okay, our next item is item 5.2, which is to receive the report regarding potential general plan update options, provide policy direction to staff regarding the city's desired level of effort, and direct staff whether to prepare a request for proposals and budget appropriation for future council consideration.
Evening again, Mayor, council members. So I have just a quick presentation. Next slide. So just quickly, the purpose of the session. So you requested at the last council meeting to have a discussion item on the options for a general plan update. So that's what this presentation entails. And the purpose is to discuss 3 potential update options, understand the general costs and general timelines, and then to provide policy direction to staff. Next slide. So why an update? So the last major overhaul of the general plan was done in 2010. There's been updates since, but that was the last full revision to the general plan was in 2010. There have been a lot of changes to state law, including housing legislation, climate adaptation, environmental justice requirements, complete street requirements, changes to the way traffic is analyzed. That's SB 743, also known as vehicle miles traveled. It also required safety updates. And also, as you know, there's local issues that we've been dealing with, including general plan zoning inconsistency, residential land use cleanup, and just making the general plan easier to implement. Next slide. So the first option is a limited residential land use consistency amendment. And this option would focus on correcting inconsistencies between the general plan land use map and tables and the city's zoning map and zoning ordinance. It would review existing residential land use designation, identify inconsistent zoning districts. It would involve preparing a target general plan land use amendment and targeted zoning code text amendments. It would include a very simple environmental review document, and it would require public hearings before the Planning Commission and City Council. So next slide. So this is just approximate. So this would be a very, just trying to clean up some of those items that were identified recently. So it'd be a very limited modification. It could probably be done in 2 to 4 months if we moved quickly, potentially lingering into 6 months. Estimated cost would be somewhere in the range of $5,000 to $7,000, and it could be done by staff. Next slide. So option 2 is a bigger revision that would entail bringing the general plan up to date with state law. So it's a limited state law compliance update. So what we would do or have a consultant do is review the general plan updates, update policies to reflect current state law, remove obsolete policies, improve internal consistency, update some of the implementation measures. There would be public outreach components, but it would be limited. So there would be some public meetings to get input from the community. There would be a environmental document that would be required, bigger or more, it would be a larger undertaking than option 1, but would not be a full EIR most likely. And this option would not substantially alter the city's overall land use vision, but would modernize in general plan and improve legal defensibility. Next slide. So estimated timeline, this would take about 6 to 14 months from beginning to end. And this is just, we haven't gotten any proposals or anything. This is just my best guess on what something like this would cost. Probably in the range of $50,000 to $150,000. It could possibly be a bit cheaper than that, depending on what we wanted to include. It could be, we probably could get it done for somewhere in the range of as low as $30,000, but I wanted to give just a realistic number here. Next slide. So option 3 is a full comprehensive general plan update. Again, it's been quite a while since there has been a full comprehensive update to the city's general plan. This would involve the preparation of an entirely new general plan, replacing the majority of the document. It could involve the expansion of the city's sphere of influence. It could include major policy changes and changes to policy direction. It would involve full public outreach. So what is normally done for a general plan update, there's several community meetings, lots of community involvement. There's, this is where we look at vision statements, where the city wants to go, where they want to grow. So that is a big undertaking. Most likely it would require a full environmental impact report. This option is, a longer process. I'm estimating about 24 to 36 months. And the cost would range from 600,000 to about 1.5 million. 1.5 million is probably on the very, very high end. I think the city can definitely get something done for more than that. There is also a possibility that if we're very strategic, thrifty, that maybe we could get it done for less than 600,000. I don't see, because this most likely would require a full EIR, I don't see it being done for anything less than $500,000, but I think that there's a possibility. Again, if we're very strategic in what we want in a general plan update, it could be, a little bit less than that $600,000 price tag. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have any.
Great, thank you. Council, have any questions?
I don't have a question. I just have a couple of comments. You hit a couple of points of inconsistencies and the word inconsistency and sticking with being consistent on using, right? On using the policies that we in place, right? And I think that for the future of Selma, a CIP on the actual third phase would be the most appropriate thing to do for the future. Because of the growth pattern, where we're going and what we're doing with all the construction coming. But for now, I think actually for what we've gone in the past, I want to say 6 to 8 months, I think the first one is actually really quick, because that's something where you in-house can actually look, and you guys can, the verbiage is really what's causing some friction, right? And a lot of some public hearings to get the people understanding what we're actually wanting to do. So that's my own opinion. Thank you.
Any other input? City Manager?
I do want to mention too that, any of these, the costs associated with that would most likely not be borne for the most part out of general fund. We do have development impact fees that we collect, for long range planning. And we can use those funds for, these specific amounts. I think at our last, when we did the budget, that fund is about 500,000 right now.
So it'd be enough to pay for a new general plan.
Cutting it
Really close.
Yeah.
Could we,
I have a question. Oh, can I go?
Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. So at this point, I'm going to use you folks as the expertise. Looking at how the growth is coming to Selma, how quickly do we need to get moving on this? Because I think that we need to start looking at it probably sooner than 24 to 36 months. I mean, it's just my opinion, but I think that we really need to look at that general plan and make sure that we have no hiccups whatsoever. And if we're going to start moving, or looking to expand, I know there was talk years ago, probably when I first got on, that they wanted to also develop going south of, 99. So is that still something that's in the works or not in the works?
I haven't heard much on, development of down south, since I've been here. Doesn't mean that it's not in the plans, but, when I've, met with that developer, I haven't heard anything of moving forward. It seems like a lot of the development is, kind of northeast right now.
Okay.
And so I think this is actually a multifaceted solution. I think that it's more than just option 1, 2, or 3. I think you have to start with option 1 to clean up some of those issues that have been identified, and do that quick fix. And I do agree that the other one for the full plan update needs to be part of the capital improvement program. Additionally, we're going to have to develop an RFP, go out. Actually, I think it would be an RFQ in this instance. And then we would go out and then do that. So we're still looking at some time on doing that. So while it's potentially 36 months to develop that, you're probably looking at 40 months to develop that. But it's something that we can definitely work on getting into, either in the mid-year budget, for the general plan update, or definitely into the next budget.
but wouldn't that coincide with what you just said, is that, in order for, our general plan should be something where all our community stakeholders, all the community get involved, discuss, see where the growth pattern is going, right? And wouldn't that coincide with what, that time frame you just elaborated? Wouldn't that coincide with getting our community involved and educating them? Because some of our language has been kind of misled and they don't understand it. And that's number one that we're going to correct. We can also facilitate that with them as we're doing this.
Yes.
And do it as a capital improvement project, which would be a less expense for us.
Right. And then, to your point, as a capital improvement project, because we know that a general plan update is a multi-year process. You're not taking that all at once. It's going out over 2 or 3 years. So you plan that into your CIP, so that way it's part of your future budget as well.
I agree with the Mayor Pro Tem. You don't want to just focus on long-range planning, 3 or 4 years out, which these general plans do. That's how long they take. We need a fix now too. We have some immediate short-term problems as well. City Attorney, what would you recommend from a legal standpoint?
I agree with Jason and Councilman Trujillo. I think you urgently need to take care of the consistency issue
Yep.
in that general plan.
Yep.
And that is a very limited change to your general plan. The bigger changes are in your zoning ordinance.
Okay, so the changes to the general plan would be an amendment to the general plan. It wouldn't be an amendment to the ordinance because the ordinances don't agree with the general plan. Or are you saying the general plan should agree with the ordinances?
Both.
Yeah.
Still,
you're saying they should
if you
reflect
want
each
to
other.
preserve, and primarily this all arises because of the Crown Development project, right? So if you want to preserve your low-density areas as low-density areas, because right now, you can build on those low-density areas if it was consistent with the general plan, which is not, you could actually build at the highest density allowed anywhere within the city. So I think the first objective is to preserve the low density designation, the moderate low density designation, and that is simply a matter of going in and fixing table 1 or 1-1, I guess it is, of your land use element.
Okay.
To fix on a specific zone, which doesn't have to be an existing zone, that would be consistent with those land use designations. You don't have many of those, and I think that may be the only one.
Good.
Within your city.
Yeah.
And you want to, to my mind, you would want to preserve that as what it was originally intended, low density.
Okay, well, I agree. I think that's a priority and we need to do that.
Yeah, and so.
We need to do that by yesterday, so.
And yes, and you're actually required when you run into an inconsistency between your zoning ordinance and your general plan, you're required to address that with all due dispatch. And it's very easily done. It doesn't involve a lot, doesn't cost a lot. But once you get that done, I agree with Jason. You want to take a look at the overall general plan. I don't know if it goes out to 2035 or 2030, does it?
2035 usually, 25 years.
2032, I thought,
Isn't it 25 years, 22 years?
because it was 20.
It's not a set amount, and I
Oh,
don't
it's
know
not
off the top of
prescribed.
my head if it's 2030 or 2032. So I would have to double check. It's 2030 something, for sure. And we're already in 2026, so.
I thought
we're-
we're in
we're
2026.
Planning out,
So it's gonna start anyway.
You may have only 4 years left on that general.
Right.
But
'cause it was
I also,
2010.
but I also think that everything's correct. I coincide with what everybody's saying, but bringing the public and getting the low density people and high density people and getting them in the meeting and having the public hearings and getting the current conversation seals the deal. This is where we don't have no more problems. And that's where that's why I say that if we can kind of make it phase 1, 2, and get a CIP would get everybody talking and we're sealing it up as we're talking and doing it.
Yeah, I mean, 2008, 9, whenever this last one was done, I mean, that was a different time, especially on outreach and getting, I mean, we weren't YouTubing stuff, or council meetings at that time, so it's.
But Amberwood was around. I mean, a lot of these are around. They're just happening now.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's continuity of what the city has had for many, many years. And I agree. We've got a short-term solution and we got a long-term solution. So I think tonight, are we approving option 1 to
Well-
fix the immediate problems and to look into starting the process of the general plan with community involvement.
Yep.
Every step of the way to make sure that there's buy-in and there's reflection of the community will on this because things have changed. But right now, we need continuity.
Yeah.
We got
Well,
a
you know-
problem there. Legally, what has to happen for this to go into effect? Do we need to, if we change that table, do the zoning ordinances need to change, or is that next, or what happens there?
The zoning ordinance needs to change after you change the general plan amendment on just the consistency issue, right? So you have to change both of them.
And we'll work, with Neil. to
And,
make
and
sure.
both of those require public hearings, both before the planning commission and before the city council. And they require a substantial amount of notice to people.
I think that's very important. Get those notices out to everybody.
And so this is, a request for direction, so it's just consensus from council.
Is there consensus?
Yeah, you're,
Go with option one and
being, I guess, being in the past with his general plan was developed, and I, as council, in the previous council, always wanted to streamline things, Actually, we had in-house engineering and all this in play, but now we don't. We have other entities outside their council that are assisting our help, and it takes time. I get it because they have other planning jobs they got to do, but in the future, I'd like to see, our engineering in-house in the past that we had, that we can streamline these things in the past that we used to. And we had our general plan in the past that we had in play that mitigated some of these issues and moved these things forward. It didn't take, 2 years, 3 years. It moved very rapidly. And I think like the three gentlemen here said, you have to kind of adjust items that are in the general. Make sure they're in consistence of the zoning, make sure they're, the general plan it consists with the zoning, they're on the same page, and it's simple. And all developers or people that come and spend their money in developing, they know what it's about, and it's a lot, and planning knows, everybody knows, and it streamlines things very fast. So I think we have to start with number one, and then we jump to the future plans of the future as far as estimated timeline for
I
development.
think the issue's been that the general plan's been left on the shelf and it's collected dust and nobody's really thought about it. And there was an effort to replace the general plan with the zoning ordinances, and that just doesn't happen. That's just not the priority. So I think we're gonna do the work now to
It did happen on my watch, Scott.
have the two agree. So that's gonna be important. Do we have any public comment on the general plan tonight? And zoning ordinances? Anybody online or on the phone with a comment?
Mayor, I see nobody in the chat.
Mr. Mayor, can I add something? Since we're having this topic, could we add it to the agenda that we do a CIP on the general plan for the future?
Under future agenda items, do you wanna bring that back? Okay.
Yeah, the CIP, we can add to that at any time.
Comment? Okay, we have consensus then. All right.
Okay,
you.
so the consensus is to option one,
Option 1 and 3.
and then, we
Jordan
look at, planning for the option 3
Right,
and adding it to the CIP.
that's correct. Okay. We will move on to future agenda items. Speaking of, council requests for future agenda items not subject to public comment. Items require a consensus. Councilman Trio, do you have a future agenda item?
Just to add the CIP for the future for the general plan.
Is there a consensus for that?
Yes.
Fine with that. Councilman Avalos?
Save mine for last.
Okay, Councilman Oseguera.
I'll say mine.
Can't all be last, guys.
Trying to be last. I
Mayor
want to
Pro
go
Tem.
after the good looking guy.
Oh, shoot. Mayor Pro Tem.
I have nothing.
Okay, I'll go then. I'd like to, I don't know if it's an agenda item, but an update on the ice skating rink. Where are we? Are we getting bids? It's July.
It's coming to your next council meeting.
Great, okay.
Acting Director Tiger's working on that.
Okay, very good. And then, I'd also like to do as a future agenda item, update commission materials. So from what I understand from commissioners, the items are there to train commissioners or to give them background on what they're gonna do, but a lot of the items are outdated, so they really need an update. Planning, Ms. Emerson, do we have, can you reflect that?
Yes, so we recently had kind of an informal training with the new commissioner. I did prepare, we had some older documentation that comes from League of Cities. There's some other standard documents that are a little bit older. We did revise or come up with a kind of a guidance document that we prepared that was a little bit more modern. I do need to modify it a bit, make some changes. And we do, so I think it would be helpful to have a reference guide for commissioners. So that's what we're working towards. So we drafted something. It needs a little bit of finessing, and we plan to present that or give that to commissioners at a future meeting. We also do plan on having a planning commissioner training on an agenda. I was hoping to have it on the agenda for July 14th, but I might have a conflict on that day, so we're probably gonna have to push it to the next planning commission meeting after the July meeting. But that is
You
in the
guys work
works.
with a lot of cities. Do you have any materials for other commissions as well?
The standard materials that are utilized from like the League of Cities,
Right.
those are pretty typical. And the document that we created was specifically for the city of Selma. And that's the document that I hope to give to all planning commissioners. It does also want to provide it electronically. It has links to the general plan, the zoning ordinance, so they can have a PDF and have a general guidance document and then click on links for a reference document. So
Really good. And then for the other commissions, can you contact the League of Cities and see if they have materials for training for parks and community services or even
Yeah.
Measure S?
Yeah, and I can work with our directors on getting that information.
Sounds good.
I'm ready.
I'm
now.
not done. I got one more. And then, so the update on commission materials, do we have consensus to update commission materials? Great. Okay, and then, oh, he's not here anymore, but the sign ordinance or that Mr. Crouch brought up, that's probably valuable to look at our sign ordinance one more time. I know we've done it twice, I think, in the last 12 months. But it's always good to keep refreshing ourselves on this to keep it current in the future. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Taking a quick look, and hopefully we can invite the whole community and let them know, especially Mr. Crouch, since he's very, very concerned with this.
Now, was that specific to his, I think he was talking about the feather banners and the
I think he
A-frames?
was. Let's keep it as specific as possible, I
Yeah.
think. And then finally, we talked about the covering for the park bench at Walmart. I know you're gonna talk to Janelle at your next TAC meeting, and then I can talk to Janelle at the next COG meeting as well and see if we can get a transit stop potentially on Floral there. Because if you go back on Floral closer to the Toyota, there's not as much traffic there. I still don't know if that's feasible to put a transit stop there, but, and then you've got caching going in across, you've got casitas going in across the street. So maybe they'd be willing to put in a transit stop on their side too. But then you'd have to cross the street from Walmart to get over there, and I don't know about that one. Anyway, okay. Go for it.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Okay, I like, I'd like to know actually, I'd like to know all the grants updates that we have applied from fire, police, public works or anybody in our city, any grants that we applied and what are grants that we are applying now recently, the new updates. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you. Yes. Everybody good with a grant update? Councilman Oseguera, you're last.
It, man.
Okay, following up, the good-looking guy's kind of tough sometimes, but going back to the commissioners,
See, but at least
you left me speechless. Have all the commissioners completed Brown Act training? Do we know? I've been requesting this since I got elected, and seems like nobody's listening.
I will look
That's a
into that.
huge item, because you know what? We've had instances where commissioners have had to recuse themselves because they have talked about items that are going before their board or commission, and they need to be trained because that's a huge issue. I mean, we received training, but it was it was in the morning when all the commissioners were at work, school, whatever, so they couldn't attend. And I always said, why have it in the morning? So we either need to provide one, training that's provided, or we need to find a way, because we're doing a disservice to all these people who are volunteering for a city. They need to be trained on this, because Brown Act violations are very important, as we found out in the past couple of months.
Yep.
So if we can get that done, I would surely appreciate it.
I'm sorry, council member, to your point, yes, we should have a workshop on that. I think within the past 2 months, city clerk handed out a booklet to all, commissioners, and, commissioners had to sign the form and submit it back to, city clerk. So they have the Brown Act materials, but I think an in-person workshop would probably be best as well.
Yeah, and that's what we had. Also, I'd like to get an update on I know I talked to Jason on the $300,000 for High Street. For Second Street, if we can be able to use that for repairs or a painting of the art center.
Yep, we're working on that one, and we're having that discussion with Caltrans.
And I think that's, let me see, I think that's pretty much all I have as far as future items.
Sounds good. We have consensus for Councilman Oseguera's items? Yes, okay. That we will move on to council reports. Councilman Trujillo?
Just like to congratulate the bid for the last event, or last two events. They're doing a good job, and I think the community is coming out, so that's it.
Thank you. Councilman Avalos?
Okay, I attended the, Friday event, Truck Friday event, and I also helped out in the beer garden. I didn't realize there was so many different brands of beer that they made, and I didn't get to taste any, by the way. I had to be the server. But also, I also attended the fireworks at the stadium, and I thank the fire department. They brought their truck out. They put the flag out there. And also the police department was out there, Rudy, and is operational there. And also, I thank Public Works for getting the parks in our community ready for the 4th of July. They were green, everything was ready to roll. It was nice setup. And once again, I commend the people that work for the city, who they are. It doesn't matter who they are. They're doing a great job. And as council up here, we make decisions, but sometimes our decisions are not easy to be made. And we don't please everybody, unfortunately. It's sad, but we like to, but it happens. But all I gotta say, right now, the city is moving forward to make some tough decisions right now. And I thank the people that are coming out, the citizens, they're voicing their opinion. And I like to hear that more. And I like the new people stand up for me and stand up to these requirements as far as being on a planning commission, Parks and Recreation, Measure S. These people are contributing to our community that a lot of times as council, we cannot be there in those meetings, but they help us make these decisions that we're at right now. And I thank them very much. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Councilmember Oseguera?
I attended the Food Truck Fridays, every one of I did not attend the 3rd of July. I happened to go visit family in Orange Cove, and they were holding it at the same time, so we attended that, and I got to meet city officials. Turns out that the mayor, he was a little baby when we know the family. And now he's the mayor. He said to say, tell you hi.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the thing that I don't understand is, and I don't know if it's something we control, but most cities, Dinuba, Orange Cove, they all do their events for free. They don't charge to get in. And, you know, they had it at a soccer field. And I tell you what, the attendance was a lot bigger than Selma's. The fireworks show wasn't as good, but, you know, but it was free. You know, and they had a beer garden out there, you know, vendors.
Saying July 3rd event.
Yeah, they had a car show going on. They had all kinds of stuff going on, you know. So I just wanted to bring that up because you know, little Orange Cove had it going on that day. You know, that car show was huge. You know, they had whole parking lot was full of cars.
They were stolen vehicles.
Be quiet.
Just, that mayor just took over too.
Yeah, so something to look into. I mean, I know it costs a lot of money to put on the fireworks show, and I know we contribute for half the fireworks. But let's see, what else did I attend? I don't even remember. I think I'm getting old. But yeah, at the community response to all these events has been great. Oh, before I forget, don't forget that there's also Selma Live that is doing a good job. We're a 3-member committee, myself, my wife, and of course, the director of our committee, Rose Robertson. We put the show together along with Director Moreno, who puts in endless hours promoting. He goes out there at 7 o'clock in the morning like everybody else. You know, we buy burritos for everybody, but that's the only pay they get, you know. But you know what? For having 3 people on the board, we put on a heck of a show. So, and Mr. Avalos attends too. And he helps. He was working security one night. And he almost got beat up by a customer, but that's a different story. But you know, I want to say thank you. Also, our next event, which everybody forgot to mention, is September 4th with the Moreno's Band and Ruben y La Nueva Onda. We're going to mix it up a little bit and see what kind of response we get. So that's Selma Life keeps moving on until they kick us out of the city and tell us not to do no more. But thank you, Rose Robertson, for all your contributions.
Nice. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I attended the Food Truck Friday event, which was the last one with David Guayo. It was a really great event, and I have to say that so many people that I talked to it was funny because some of them weren't from Selma. They said they just came from Reedley, Sanger, you know, Parlier. And it's great because they love what's happening here in Selma. And the compliments that we're getting, it's amazing because Fowler used to do these events every Wednesday night and they're not doing them. So now they come to Selma and they're thankful because Selma's close, you know, we're close. So the compliments that we're getting, our town is so nice, our streets are clean.
Thank you.
You know, that goes a long way because you go to other cities, you know, and I go to other cities' events as well because I just like to, you know, follow certain bands and friends that live in council members, they ask us to come over and we do that for each other. But I'll tell you, the amount of compliments that Selma gets is overwhelming. And I got to give thanks to Public Works, all our city workers, you know, everyone that contributes putting this together because it's amazing. And then our July 3rd fireworks show, that was amazing. People said that was one of the best shows that Selma put on. And the fireworks were dynamic. The band was amazing. We had Califas. Again, they brought more people. I have to say this was one of the largest probably group of people that we had in Selma than we've ever had. So that was great. Even though we charge $5, I have to tell you that's nothing. Sanger charges $5. You know, maybe Fowler doesn't charge. I don't know. I'm not sure. But you know, sometimes it's where you get to have the event. We have to have it at the high school. Maybe that's a reason why we have to charge. I'm not sure. But it was a great event. So I want to thank everybody for just the amount of work that these guys put in there and women. I mean, it was amazing. Thank you.
I definitely agree. Want to reiterate everything that I've heard tonight and attended all these events. Yes, the small committees, you know, on a lot of committees, it comes down to just a few people who do all the work. And it's just kind of the nature of things. And we have a lot of those here. We have a small number of people, but we have doers. And they get things done. And look at our city, it's really improved. I mean, look how far we've come in the last couple of years. We've got these downtown events. Like I said earlier, the expectation is that not that there's nothing going on, but what's going on, what's happening. And, you know, the Selma Live has its work cut out for it because it has to beat itself now. It has to come up with shows that don't just repeat last year, but improve on it. And they're already doing it. And it's based on community input. I mean, you go to these shows and people are giving you input about what we could do in the future, make it better. And I think that just shows the collaborative nature of what we're doing in Selma. This is for the residents, and people are coming out and giving their input. Look at the commissions. We've never had so many volunteers for the commissions. People are coming out for the meetings. In short, Selma is alive. And this is how you have a live city, a living thing that people can contribute to. And we keep it alive by joining and by bringing our efforts and coming out on an evening and coming to events and keeping our city moving, because movement is life. So I attended that final food truck event. Dave Aguayo's tunes were about as cool as the weather, which was really cool that night. I attended the Fresno Council of Governments meeting and the Fresno County Rural Transit Agency meeting in Fresno. I attended the last Business Improvement District meeting where a lot of these same topics were discussed about how it could be made better. Looking forward to those trash cans coming in. That was discussed at the meeting. They were in. There's a real excitement about that, our downtown, how it's really shaping up. I met with the city manager and communications director to discuss city issues last week. I attended the Selma Chamber of Commerce, City of Selma 3rd of July fireworks celebration that we talked about with Khalifa's really good show. I would like to invite anybody who would like to come to the Selma Cemetery on Monday to honor a citizen who did pretty much everything in Selma, Jim Brockett. Man, he was the mayor, he was the police chief, he was, you know, school board president, he was a Marine, he was a veteran, he was in the Korean War. He really did so much. And his final farewell will be at the cemetery, in the Selma Cemetery this Monday at 10. I know the police chief will be there. I know that I'll be there, and I would invite the council and anybody here to honor him. Also would like to invite everyone to attend the ribbon cutting for the new Bethel Village Retirement Community. I guess the folks couldn't be here tonight to go over that, but that will be Friday at 10 a.m. And that should be a very good program. It's the Bethel grand opening. It's 10 to, 10 like all day, but 10 to 11 will be kind of the ribbon cutting and the guest speakers and all that good stuff. There'll be food, raffles, spin the wheel, and family fun. Come see Bethel. You might not have seen it in a while. I know my parents lived there for 3 years, and I think it's going through some changes like a lot of things are in the world. It's the same concept of senior living, but it's getting a refresh. So it'll be exciting to see what the new owners are going to do. And then I have a question before we go to our last oral communications. If you look back at the Measure S, there's a vacancy on Measure S. No? Okay, so I think we've solved that one. So we will go to our final oral communications of the evening. Does anybody like to say something before we adjourn the meeting tonight?
um, 1057 Mill Street, Rose Robertson. I'm a little bit concerned that is it any mention of, or maybe city manager has spoken to the superintendent about a future high school? I mean, we're seeing all these homes coming in, more kids, more families. has there even been a property purchased by the Selma Unified School District in our city for another school, or what's the plan there? I mean, we had people discuss during the planning commission, we had somebody here talking about, we got La Casitas coming in, we got Lennar coming in. Those are definitely coming in like quickly. That's just one set. And then we saw all the other planning for all the other schools. I mean, I know that maybe you guys can reach out to do a town hall meeting with the school district so citizens can have input on that. If they don't have even a property yet, that's maybe like something to really look at to get going for these kids to attend for the future. And again, Selma Life, I really want to thank, I know it's just a committee, but I would like to also thank all the sponsors. We got Cal Water, Mid Valley, we got El Toro Loco, who's been a sponsor from the businesses. We have Mendez Custom Painting, that if they're not a sponsor for Selma Live, they're a sponsor for the business improvement downtown. So again, I want to thank those, so we're not just always using, the money from the general fund or that's allocated into the business improvement district or Selma Live. We go out and fundraise as well. And I also want to really thank a lot more of the volunteers. We have a soon-to-be Commissioner Gallardo. We have that volunteer serving beer for hours and hours. We have Commissioner Ramirez, who constantly volunteer, break down, show up, and do a lot of I mean, there's so many more. We have our PIO who just stays from the morning and night, just like Councilmember Osigeta stated, and that's breaking down, picking up trash with other volunteers. Our bid has been outstanding. They've all put in their pull of helping out. But just the volunteers, they come, they love this. We got so many that want to continue to volunteer. So we really appreciate that. And I just want to say thank you to them. They make this happen as well. Thank you.
Anybody online or on the phone with a comment?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
With that, we will adjourn. We'll see you on the 21st. Thank you, everybody.